2018 Škoda Superb Estate Review. The good points of Škoda Superb Estate: enormous interior, sharp styling, comfortable ride, great value. The bad points of Škoda Superb Estate: lackluster interior, unengaging drive. Some people may find it too big. Rear seats don't fold flat. These elegantly chiseled lines, enveloping a commodious interior, are part of the second-generation Škoda Superb Estate, which joins its hatchback sibling revealed earlier in 2015. Its enormity ensures it might be regarded as a real rival for that likes from the Audi A6 Avant, Mercedes-Benz A-Class Estate and Volvo V70 when it comes to carrying capacity, while still competing up against the Vauxhall Insignia Sports Tourer, Ford Mondeo Estate and Volkswagen Passat Estate on price. The Škoda Superb Estate's boot size really matters. Transforming the Superb hatchback's fastback profile into a more cargo-friendly estate body has involved both lengthening and widening the size and style over the outgoing model. Rear seats up, the Škoda Superb Estate will swallow 660 liters of luggage, shopping and other things that you need to transport, an expansion of 27 liters in the previous generation. Fold the trunk seats over, which increases to some maximum of 1,950 liters, although you would like to invest within the variable height boot floor solution to have a flatter load bed. Not only is this the roomiest rear within the segment, it's 85 liters in excess of the model it replaces too. Cavernous interior swallows families whole. As together with the hatchback, the rest on the Superb Estate's cabin is roomier compared to the Awachi spacious predecessor and feels a lot more upmarket, which has a classy interior fabricated from premium quality plastics. Škoda's also ramped within the simply clever features to raise the car's practicality, including a tailgate that may be made to open using a wiggle from the foot under the spine bumper, closing again giving a brief pull recorded on the door itself. Petrol or diesel engine? A great choice in either case. We expect the majority of Škoda Superb Estate customers to decide on one in the economical diesels, particularly where maximizing efficiency across higher mileages may be the primary consideration. The range kicks off using a 120 horsepower 1.6-liter TDI offering 67.3 miles per gallon or 70.6 miles per gallon when fitted with all the 7-speed DSG automatic box. Our pick include the 150 horsepower 2-liter TDI, which has a claimed 68.9 miles per gallon. Opting for that DSG box or four-wheel drive impacts a bit on efficiency, as also does plumping for your more powerful 190 horsepower addition in the engine. The Petrol Škoda Superb options. Those in search of petrol power employ a refreshingly great deal of choices. The basic 1.4-liter TSI can be found in 123 bhp and 148 bhp guises, the second of which is a bit more efficient at 55.4 miles per gallon whether in manual or DSG format. Both in the 2.0-liter TSI variants -220 horsepower and 280 horsepower, are exclusively fitted with all the DSG transmission. While performance is impressive, the more robust edition will sprint from 0 miles per hour within 5.8 seconds. It's unlikely to complement its reasonable claimed fuel economy of 39.2 miles per gallon. We ran a 280 horsepower 4x4 Škoda Superb Sportline like a long-termer, noting that averaged a lot more than 31 miles per gallon, the good result with the performance available. The verdict. Describing the Škoda Superb Estate as cheap can be misleading, however it does offer great value compared, which consists of rivals, whether you're taking into consideration the amount of metal your hard-earned money buys, or even the level of equipment offered. 5 trims levels can be obtained, operating Superbs featuring alloy wheels, multifunction buttons within the leather-wrapped controls, an electrical parking brake, Bluetooth connectivity, DAB radio and stop-start for your engine. Find out more to do with this spacious family wagon by watching full Škoda Superb estate review, which consists of hatchback counterpart. 4 petrol and 3 diesel engines provide Škoda Superb estate performance, which range from adequate to surprisingly brisk. Trio of diesels. Most Škoda Superb estates purchased in Britain will arrive fitted having a diesel motor, offering greater fuel efficiency over longer journeys. Entry-level diesels use a 1.6-liter TDI motor, producing 118 bhp, with 250 Nm of torque offered by 1,500 revolutions per minute. Whether you opt for your standard 6-speed manual or optional 7-speed DSG automatic, performance is perhaps all but identical. Both reach 127 miles per hour, even though the manual completes the benchmark 062 miles per hour sprint in 11 seconds, the DSG simply a tenth of the second more. Škoda claims the manual will achieve 67.3 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 109 gkm, figures trumped through the DSG, 70.6 miles per gallon and 105 gkm respectively. We expect the 148 bhp addition on the 2-liter diesel to become most popular from the Superb estate, especially with 340 Nm of torque you can use from 1,750 revolutions per minute. With manual transmission 135 miles per hour may be possible, whilst the 062 miles per hour test takes 8.9 seconds. Choose the 6-speed DSG or manual with 4-wheel drive and others figures drop to 134 miles per hour, 9.0 seconds and 132 miles per hour, 9.1 seconds, respectively. That front-wheel drive manual 148 bhp Superb estate posts claims of 68.9 miles per gallon and 109 gkm of CO2. Opt with the DSG and the one's numbers crunch to 61.4 miles per gallon and 121 gkm, as you move the 4x4 claims precisely the same fuel efficiency but 120 gkm of CO2. Topping the diesel range is often a 187 bhp version from the same 2-liter unit, now delivering 400 Nm of torque, enough to accept the manual version to 146 miles per hour and from the standstill to 62 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds. The DSG automatics, in front and 4-wheel drive, have lower top speeds 145 miles per hour and 142 miles per hour but quicker acceleration times 7.8 and 7.7 seconds respectively. Efficiency isn't hurt too badly, while using manual quoted at 67.3 miles per gallon and 110 gkm. Front-wheel drive DSGs are rated at 61.4 miles per gallon and 120 gkm whilst the 4x4 version drops to 55.4 miles per gallon and 135 gkm. Quartet of petrols. In a segment where diesels significantly outsell petrols, it's surprising to seek out 4 alternatives fueled by unleaded. Essentially there's 2 basic engines, each for sale and a couple of power outputs. Škoda's opening petrol gambit would be the 1.4-liter TSI and 123 bhp guys, producing 200 Nm of torque from just 1,400 revolutions per minute. It's not sluggish either, the manual transmission model reaching 128 miles per hour with 062 miles per hour finished in 10 seconds flat. Škoda claims typically 52.3 miles per gallon using a CO2 creation of 126 gkm. Next up undoubtedly are a pair of 148 bhp additions on the same 1.4-liter TSI, either using a 6-speed manual transmission or perhaps a 7-speed DSG automatic. Torques increased to your more useful 250 Nm, but that peak flow doesn't arrive until 1,500 revolutions per minute. Not only is performance better with all the higher output engine, top speeds of 135 miles per hour for both gearboxes, the manual being 0.2 seconds quicker from 0.62 miles per hour at 8.7 seconds, efficiency is superior too, due to active cylinder technology closing two from the cylinders once the engine's running well below a full load. Official figures hold the manual and DSG at 55.4, with CO2 rated at 119 gkm for both. Topping the petrol lineup really are a pair of 2-liter TSIs, both with 6-speed DSGs, the stronger solely provided by 4-wheel drive. With 217 bhp and 350 Nm provided by 1,500 revolutions per minute, the lower-powered 2-liter petrol will reach 151 miles per hour and squirt from 0.62 miles per hour in 7.1 seconds. Unsurprisingly, efficiency needs a nosedive like a result, with claims of 44.8 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 146 gkm. Topping the performance chart, and bottoming the efficiency rankings, maybe the 276 bhp addition from the 2-liter TSI, filled with 4x4. Torque still 350 Nm, however available at a rather headier 1,700 revolutions per minute. We tested this engine thoroughly throughout a long Selp to Frankfurt. Watch whatever we thought about it here. This Superb will reach 155 miles per hour and dart coming from a standstill to 62 miles per hour in a very sports car-like 5.8 seconds, but economy drops to 39.2 miles per gallon, emissions approximately 168 gkm. This is just not a Skoda that's cheap to perform. If you need your commodious wagon to feel at ease and assured, then this Škoda Superb estate is often a natural selection, for it has those qualities in spades. Those seeking something engaging, such as its premium rivals, for example the BMW 5 Series Touring or Jaguar XF Sport Brake, are likely to get disappointed with all the dynamics, or else the space. Under the Superb's skin can be an enlarged version from the underpinnings that support various Volkswagen Golf derivatives, for example the Skoda Octavia estate. While the Superb feels more upmarket than its sibling, it's unlikely to become a car you adopt out purely to the joy of driving. Where it truly shines is usually a long-haul see that which you thought of our long-termers' motorway prowess. Choose your Superb estate in say L Executive or Flagship Lauren and Clement specification and you'll enjoy the drive mode selection function. Not only will it modify the throttle application and steering, perhaps the aircon and dynamic lighting patterns alter, too. That range-topping L and K also includes dynamic chassis control DCC as standard, optional on other Superbs, which varies the amount of stiffness with the adaptive suspension dampers. There's a visible difference, particularly using the suspension settings. However, in most instances the Superb estate felt at its best lawn mowers of normal mode. The firmness of sport felt at odds together with the Skoda's comfortable EBs, whereas comfort itself felt too soft, allowing the bigger body to wallow over heavily undulated surfaces. It's much the same situation with all the steering, the weighting which often felt either too light or heavy without increasing or decreasing the volume of feel transmitted to the driver's hands. That said, the Superb estate does cling on gamely around bends, benefiting in the electronic differential to help keep tight lines around corners. You really do ought to push the fundamental Skoda hard before its front tires complain and commence to push you wide into understeer. If you're progressing on the Škoda Superb estate in the smaller Octavia, or a number of other cars in the Volkswagen stable, you could be a tad disappointed together with the interior. Certainly not because on the space, material quality, finish and the generous quantities of equipment doesn't imply because it's so like other models it lacks the special feel you'd witness inside a BMW or Audi cabin. If you aren't accustomed to those cars, then you'll be on to the best thing. The Škoda's cabin is fantastic, with strong geometric lines that complement those on the bodywork. Yes, there are several firmer plastics round the cabin's lower reaches. In most areas your fingertips will likely be delighted because probe the soft touch materials and see the well-damped switchgear. Most designs include instruments of exceptional clarity, however the buff-colored ones fitted on the range-topping Lauren and Clement versions not simply are more difficult to watch, they conspire to appear less classy. Other displays, particularly the larger infotainment screens, are an awesome experience, though a lot more expensive systems benefiting coming from a proximity sensor which enlarges on-screen buttons because your hand approaches. Owners of newer iPhones will even benefit from Apple Carplay, a head unit that uses the screen to change it into what appears for being a device from your American electronics manufacturer, using the same graphics as you'll find on the handheld version. Achieving a great seating position is not difficult enough too, especially as the leader adjusts for reach and angle. Exterior mirrors are usefully large, too, affording fine rearward visibility. Combine a palatial cabin which has a supple ride quality and you develop the key ingredients to get a serene driving experience, which explains why we rate Škoda Superb estate comfort so highly. In fact, we drove one the length in the country to correctly assess its comfort levels. Watch more here. Not only could be the interior space more generous than before at landed divorce attorney's direction, other than rear seat legroom which, though it remains unchanged, remains the largest in their class, it feels more luxurious and cost-setting compared to the outgoing Superb. Wherever you sit you'll sense that you've got much, with ample room without elbows or heads grazing the threshold panels and headlining. The quality of fit and take care of adds to your sense of comfort, with well-damped controls and also a reassuring thunk once you close the doors. The cabin's essentially freed from ambient noise too, whether it's emerging from your engine, tires through the road surface or wind whistling throughout the windscreen and exterior mirrors. Many models are luxuriously appointed with heated leather seats, optionally provided with air conditioning, while depending for the specification you plump for, the climate control can regulate nearly 3 different interior zones. Adaptive suspensions situated on a Škoda for the first time, standard within the Superb estate in Lauren and Clement trim, optional on other occasions. While rides exceptionally relaxed in comfort mode, there were a tendency with the car to wallow over the series of quick-fire undulations. The normal setting doesn't transmit intrusion significantly into the cabin, however the car feels better balanced across many different tri-types because mode. Following its summer 2015 launch, the Škoda Superb estate can be purchased in 5 familiar trim degrees of S, say Business, say L Executive, and Lauren and Clement acting as being the lineup's flagship. Standard Škoda Superb estate equipment. Entry level certainly doesn't make for any sparse specification if you choose the Škoda Superb estate in S trim. Outside it's adorned with 16-inch iron alloy wheels, body-colored door mirror housings and handles and front fog lights. Climb aboard and you'll have a multi-function, leather-wrapped tire, a parking brake, an opportune removable boot light that doubles being a torch, a visit computer, Bluetooth connectivity, DAB radio, and also a 5-inch touchscreen for your infotainment system. Move up a notch towards the say and you'll also have a 17-inch alloy upgrade from the Helios design, a cornering function inside the front fog lights, adaptive cruise control, rear parking sensors and electrically folding door mirrors. Inside you'll make use of lumbar adjustable front seats, dual-zone climate control, umbrellas built in the front doors along with an upgraded Bolero infotainment package which has a 6.5-inch touchscreen. Aimed squarely at company car drivers is a business, which builds upon the SE's generous kit count to add the Strato's form of 17-inch alloy wheel, LED rear lights, parking sensors back and front, the upgraded Amundsen infotainment system with Satinov and Alcantara upholstery. More luxurious appointments visit way on the SEL executive line, which adds 18-inch zenith alloys, bi-xenon headlamps with LED day running lights and headlamp washers for the SE's exterior specification. Once inside you'll discover leather upholstery, heated front seats, and electrically adjustable driver's seat, the Columbus infotainment package with Satinov and 8-inch screen, and electric-operated tailgate as well as a series of nets to the boot area. Topping the range could be the Lauren and Clement, which adds more standard equipment on the SEL executive's roster. While the wheels remain 18 inches in diameter, they're in the Pegasus design by having an anthracite finish, an electrically heated windscreen, blind spot detection, lane keeping assist, self-parking function, keyless entry and commence and dynamic chassis control with adaptive dampers. Inside there's a better 10-speaker Canton sound system, a television function, heated rear seats, piano black interior trim appliques and 3-zone climate control. Optional Škoda Superb accessories. Sitting on the head in the firm's range, it's no surprise to seek out that the Škoda Superb estate is generously equipped, though this doesn't mean you can't boost the specification levels further. That has a selection of options. Perhaps the most obvious would be the car's color. You can find 14 shades to pick from, including 4 complementary interior shades and also a quartet of interior trim decor alternatives too. Many Superb estate Salwachi have heated leather seats, but that can be upgraded further to aircon versions. Additionally, an auxiliary heater function is usually added to warm the automobile up prior to inside, a welcome boon for bitter mornings. Many rear seat passengers love to carry tablets around in cars together these days. The Superb estate comes with a cradle built into a corner center armrest, allowing the device might be angled as desired. Opting for that variable height boot floor allows not merely for smaller items for being hidden beneath false bottom, however it creates a flatter load bay if your seats are tumbled. While it's not crash-tested beneath the auspices with the experts at Euro NCAP, we fully expect Škoda Superb safety to get rated at 5 stars, as was the last generation on the car. It certainly comes full of equipment made to make it the safest model within the Czech brand's range, with even entry-level S-grade Richen kit meant to minimize crashes along with the consequences of those. Not only is electronic stability control fitted as standard, so may be other key electronic features like emergency city braking, multi-collision braking to mitigate against rolling along into additional crashes, and also a pedestrian safety system. We gave this safety kit a comprehensive shakedown in this Superb long-termer. Watch more here. Move as much as the SE trim for front fog lights having a corner illumination function and adaptive cruise control, while SE business specification introduces LED tail lights. Choose the SEL Executive for bi-xenon headlamps, complemented by LED day running lights, which alter their beam pattern in accordance with speed along with other factors, as you move. The flagship Lauren and Clement editions usher in blind spot monitoring, lane assist and self-parking functions. Parking sensors, a reversing camera and rear traffic alert, which warns you of oncoming vehicles when reversing out of the space, are also part in the package. Airbags we are likely to take for granted currently, though the Škoda Superb estate features 9 of those, including one to the driver's knees. With its rakish lines you'd be forgiven for wondering if Škoda Superb estate practicality ended up being sacrificed regarding looks, although not at all. It seems with Škoda's largest model you might have form and function. With the corner seats up, the boot measures an outstanding 660 liters, a boost of 27 liters on the outgoing Superb estate. It's a best-in-class figure, even though significantly smaller Peugeot 308 SW matches this number. How can it stack up resistant to the smaller Skoda Octavia? We've compared both. Watch our tester's notes here. With the 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats tumbled over, that volume increases to a different class, best of 1,950 liters, up 85 liters compared to your previous Superb estate. Just be conscious of, without the optional variable height boot floor, the cargo bay surface isn't completely flat, so you'd be wise to put money into that if you'll regularly develop the seats folded for heavy loads. Aiding practicality further is the thing that Skoda refers to because the boot net program, a combination of retaining nets for keeping loose items neatly secure, while a good many Superb estates also feature an electrical tailgate. This may be set only to open up with a particular height, to help prevent you damaging the paintwork on the garage ceiling as an example. Give the doorway itself a simple pull, also it pulls itself closed, the rest with the way electrically, too. Will your loved ones fit? See how we ended up with packing 3 kids into our long-termer. Around the cabin undoubtedly are a number of conveniently sized and shaped chambers and cubbies, including an inventive feature Awachi found about the Superb hatchback. Within the front cup holder module can be a dimpled rubber base plus a narrower slot which allows bottles to get undone single-handedly, useful when driving for minimal distraction. Finally, say versions and above share a design feature that's been a Superb mainstay, considering that the first generation's introduction in 2002, along with an idea only given to Rolls-Royce, door-mounted umbrellas.